everyone, I'm Barbara from Fairies in My Pond, and today I'm going to show you on my ball jointed doll how I'm going to paint the eyelashes. Now the eyelashes that I'm going to paint on her, it's going to be like it's going to like give it a little splattered look to it. It's not going to be like a nice smooth stroke of paint for eyelashes. Now I will be using India ink. And before I do that, I'm going to show you a couple of steps that before I paint it, what I do. Okay, before I paint, I have a little round file, and you can find these anywhere. And it's a fine one, and I want to go inside of that eye, and I will file the inside of the eye, not the outside. If you do the outside, you're going to make the eye bigger. So I want to go inside, and the reason for that is because I want to make it as smooth as possible so that my paint isn't bumpy going on it. But here's the real reason. It's when I put the eye in, I want that eye to fit really snug against the back of the eye socket. Now then, I don't put the eyes in until I have it all painted and everything. And if I find that I have a raised area, I'll just go in there and I will still take my file, or I will take an X-Acto knife and I'll cut the little piece off and then touch it up again with the paint. Okay, now before I paint, I like to clean the area inside of the eye with a little bit of alcohol, because I've been working with wax and it's going to bead up. Now, I've already done the eyebrows and everything, because this tutorial is basically to show you what I'm doing with the eyelashes to make them look like they're kind of like feathered out. Okay, I want to have a little bit of a waxy film to it. So this is what I do. I'll just take a little bit of wax and I'm just going to go over it just a little bit. Just where you're going to put the eyelashes. Okay? And then I'll just take a paper towel and I'm going to rub it off. I want to rub it really good. I don't want any chunks of wax on it. And plus, I want that ink to dry, and I want it to adhere to the eye, which it's going to. Okay, for the paint brushes, I just take a feather, and I take a bunch of little feathers here, and I bunch them all up, and then I glue them onto some sort of a handle. And when you use India ink, if you haven't used it, it dries quickly. So I'm going to put it on my table because I would rather it dry on the table than in my jar. I find that when I do the eyelashes, if I don't rest my hand on the doll or like my finger, I do much better, but the part of my arm is resting on my table. But if I don't rest my hand on the doll head, I just feel like I don't think about it, and I have more, believe it or not, I have more control. Or I should say maybe less control. The other way is like too controlled. Okay, let's give it a try and see if I have enough wax on it. Make sure I'm in the camera. Now it takes a little time or a little effort to get that ink going, and your little feathers working. Okay, it's beading up on me. And that's what I want. And if you get some lines that's, you know, too long, you can wipe it off. See how that's beaten up a little bit? That's just the effect that I want. That's what I'm going for. Now, if you get some real thick ones, if you just wipe your tip off and you just go back over it, it'll kind of do what it was supposed to do. Okay, see how that looks? Now here's the other side that I've already done. Okay, now I'm putting it in a little bit of water just to get the brown ink off. And I'm going to take a little bit of aqua. Let's see. Now I found that with the India ink is that, especially if you use the colors, if you wait for it to really set in and dry, you really have to take it off with acetone, but I don't really have good luck with that. It seems like it leaves the color on it. So like right now I could take it off, but if it's been setting for days, I want you to be aware of that. Okay, see? Or you can have it like that. Or if you want to, you know, you can put some of the color right in here. Now I don't have any black, but you could put a little bit of black in there. I don't use black too much around the eyes. Now when that is all dried, what I will do is I will take wax, and now you can, I could heat it up, but I don't necessarily have to. I can just take the wax and I can just rub it over it. I don't want to do it because it's probably not quite dry, but I would just go over it and then just take a paper towel and wipe it. And what that does is that if I run my finger over it, I can kind of feel the little bumps of the ink. Well, when I put the wax on it, it just seems like it just, I don't know, maybe it just like blends it. I don't know. I just do it all the time. And a matter of fact, with the ball jointed, you're going to see me putting heated wax on the polymer clay a lot. Okay, as far as the lips go, well, I still use the paint that I did for blushing her cheeks, you know, with the wax and everything, but I didn't do it with the wax with the lips. But I'm going to go off camera and I'm going to slip in the eyes so that you can see what it's going to look like. I just have my finger in there holding it with a little bit of clay. But I wanted to explain this part too, is that when I'm ready to set my eyes in, I will always use my 2-part epoxy to secure it. I don't stick it with polymer clay and put it back in the oven. Now, if I were to put it back in the oven, would anything be harmed on this? No, I just like to not keep putting it in the oven. When I have the eye in and it's set and everything is good on it, what I will do is I will take melted wax again and I will put it on the whole face, even the eyes. Now, if you are making your own eyes or you are buying eyes, please experiment with that and see if the melted candle wax will harm it. For the way that I'm making my eyes, it's not doing any kind of damage to it. Okay, now as I was putting the eye in, I'm just going to go ahead and just play with this for a little bit. And I don't know if I want yellow. I think I'm going to go with the yellow because, yeah, her eyes has a little, and I don't know if you can even see it, but they are like a green, and it has a little bit of a, if you look at it in a certain way, it has a little bit of a yellow, whatever. I'm having a hard time finding words today. Okay, now to somehow dip it, let's see. Let me get a tool. See if this is going to work. I'm just going to put a couple of like dots. Probably white would have been better. And then if you see that, you know, it's drying a little bit too transparent, go back over it. Put another dot over it. I don't know, I just really like the playing with the India inks. Let's put one down here. And again, when that would dry, I would put wax over it. And I don't have to seal this. But I'll keep going over that until I get the color I want. Okay? Let me close that up because they do dry out, and I want to wipe this off. Now, I'm going to show you a little something here too. Let's say I want some pink. Now what I'll do, here we go. I'll take a little bit of my paint here. Now I wouldn't be doing this right now because I'd want to set my eyes in. And I am going to, maybe this brush will work. But anyways, it'll give you an idea. Put some water in with my paint because it's mixable with water. And I probably would not use this here. This one. She's so tiny. Now I always go light and just go right in the corner of her eye. I don't know if you can see that, but then you just let it dry. And then again, I would put wax over it. And you can put it up in there, but I'm not going to do it because I'm not ready. But I would put it up in there, and there you have it. Okay, everyone, that is what I do for eyelashes sometimes. It just gives it a different effect. Now I'm going to show you a little preview of what the next tutorial is going to be on the ball jointed, and it's going to be the torso. When I make ball jointed dolls, I always like to do like a prototype just to see what it is that I want to do, because a lot of times by me doing that, I find maybe a little different way of doing something. But this is made out of just scrap clay, and I have a ball that is scrap clay. But here's what I want to show you is that when I use the candle wax, you see how nice and hollow? I mean, I really hollow these things out. And I have found too that, and I didn't share this in my other tutorials, the one with the head and how I made the core wax. I used the silicone rubber mold stuff. I want to share this with you is that if you can do this if your doll is, you know, not too small. You can take your wax and you can actually cut it into your core of what's going to be inside. But I'm going to be honest with you with this, is that there's a difference when I use the candle wax than doll wax. And really, to be honest with you, I would rather do it with doll wax, but I just don't do it. But this is where the doll wax really comes in handy more so than the candle wax. The doll wax is a very hard wax, and what I can do is I can actually really cut it and really carve it. So I can actually carve it into a core for the inside of the polymer clay. The candle wax breaks up for me. So it's kind of, there's a difference, but I can make it work. Now, sometimes if I do that, I might have to go in after it's all melted and everything, and then I would drill it out. But I might have to drill out more polymer clay than if I would have used the doll wax. but I wanted to show you the inside of it. And here is the top piece. And actually, I will even make this part right in here thinner. And I take a drill and I just go in there and I do it. And I try to make it as neat as possible. And I will always, and I'll even sand some more down up into the shoulder here. But I'll go ahead and we'll just lay this on the table and get a feel. And then her head. Her eye kind of, she looks like it's popping out, but whoops. It's not set in there. But that gives me a feel for it. And if you haven't tried ball jointed, you might want to try it because they are so much fun. And I think I'm going to even stick with doing it because it seems like the other dolls, if I can't pose them, I get bored with them. So I think I'm going to really start going into making them so that they can move. I don't know. It's just, it takes longer, but I enjoy it much better. So everyone, I hope that I see you in my next tutorial on doing the torso, and I will see you in my next one. Thank you.